Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another brand new episode of Boss Babes. I'm your host, Brittany Baldi, rocking my Red Claws hat, and it's for a good reason. You guys will find out a little bit later. We have a very special guest. She's going to be joining us shortly. But before we get into that, I have a amazing announcement from one of our great sponsors, Bet Online. Sports keep coming back, so does your chance to bet on them with our exclusive wagering partner, betonline.ag. Major League Baseball has finally started this summer and is in full swing. There's no shortage of ways to get in on all the action. BetOnline has all the odds, futures, and props for you to bet on. And as sports start to return, BetOnline has sat down with Eddie George from the NFL, Robert Horry, 7-time NBA champ, and Harold Reynolds, Major League Baseball, to get their opinions on what will be like playing without any fans and what they call the fandemic. Visit betonline.ag. Okay, guys, so listen up. It's betonline.ag. Again, that's betonline.ag today to check out all the odds and up-to-date sports news. Don't forget to sign up and take advantage of all the welcome back to sports bonuses. Bet Online, your online wagering experts. So yeah, guys, if you are obviously into watching sports, you must be if you're checking out this podcast and this live stream. Check out Bet Online, bet on some of your favorite sports. But again, without further ado, I want to jump on in with our very special guest. We have the lovely Mercedes right here. How are you, girl?
Hello, I'm good. Hi, everybody. Mercedes Brooks, LSU alumni as of last week.
Have you join us today? And again, you guys just heard her mention that she is a recent LSU graduate. She literally just graduated within the last 2 weeks, basically this month. Like, I am so excited. We actually were supposed to interview her a few weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? Let's wait until you graduate. That way we can talk all about that. So again, Mercedes, thank you so much for joining me today. How is it? I know that you grew up in Wichita Falls, Texas, and I know we had to put off your interview for like a day or two because you recently had to sort of evacuate because of the crazy hurricane that's going on. So how is that whole situation going on right now?
Yes, well, actually, I'm sitting outside of my house in Wichita Falls. I had to leave Houston because I was scared, first off, because I don't have any experience of floods and everything. And I just felt like, hey, if these Houston people are scared and they're evacuating, then I'm just going to go ahead and do it too. So I was like, let me just get my niece and we're going to come on to Wichita. So we're safe. And luckily, I've been praying because my mom stayed back in Houston as well. But I was just hoping that she was okay. And actually, the tornado and hurricanes just passed on by Houston. So hopefully I'll get to go back in a few days.
We are talking to her right now all about the fact that she graduated recently and she played college basketball, which we will touch upon a little bit later. But first, we just talked about your family a little bit. What was your family life like growing up in Texas?
Actually, I think Texas is the best state, but you know, there could be some arguments. But growing up in Texas, I had 4 sisters. I had 2 older sisters, Jasmine and Talia Brooks, and then 2 younger siblings. I had a sister, Robin Brooks, and a little brother named Robert Brooks. He goes by Bubba. We all played sports, so we were always in the heat because everybody knows it gets really hot in Texas. So we were always in the heat. We woke up at 6 a.m., ran before school from age like 5 to until we graduated to go to college. And with both of my parents, Diane and Robert Brooks. And so, yeah, I mean, it was tough growing up because I didn't get a lot of playing time. Me and my sisters, we didn't really play a lot because we were always so strict to like eating and playing sports in general. It was just kind of like a goal that my parents set was to get us to college on a scholarship, and which they've done successfully with all 3 out of 4 right now. My little brother is still in high school, so he'll be a senior this coming up year. So, and he's gotten a couple offers.
Your parents' goal essentially was to make you guys all incredible athletes. That way you went to school on a scholarship, which we will be chatting about after. Obviously, of course, you went for basketball. What was it like growing up with your family? Did you guys have any special games that you played outside? Did you like to play capture the flag or dodgeball? And how are your holidays like back home with your big family?
So Okay, we did have a really big family because if it wasn't just the sisters and brothers, we always took in other kids. Like if we noticed somebody didn't have as much as we had, or whatever it was, whatever the case was, my parents were always easygoing and was like, "Oh, come on, y'all can come have Christmas with us, or y'all can go do this with us." So we always had really big Christmases. We've always done really big things for like holidays. So birthdays were counted as holidays for us. We would all wake up, whoever. So say if it was my birthday, we would all run in my room and like happy birthday, like, and sing the happy birthday song at like 5 a.m. just to wake them up. I think Christmas was our biggest holiday. Always big on like us waking up and there'd be presents everywhere. Like the floor would be full of presents. I know some people are like, "Oh, it's not about presents," but my parents were always the parents to be like, "Okay, we want the whole living room to be decorated. Like we want to," and then knowing that I had my mom and dad in my life, we just spent the whole day just going back and forth. So we would go to my mom's house, my mom's other side, and then we'd go to my dad's side. So it was kind of cool. We got to experience both halves.
What were some of your favorite Christmas gifts that you got as a child? Did you ask for a basketball? Did you ask for a bike? Did you and your sisters want special items to braid your hair or to paint your nails?
I think my best gift was, it might have been a motorcycle. Like
Oh, wow. You wanted a motorcycle, girl.
we were very outgoing and like outdoors. If we weren't doing track or basketball, it was always like outdoors. It was never like, "Oh, we're gonna come in and play the iPad." I think that's more generation like now. Like we didn't really do that back then. Remember there was one Christmas when everybody got like electronics, like PlayStation, when the little PSPs were out. I don't know if anybody remembers those, but there was one Christmas when everybody got one except for me, and I was so devastated. But my dad came back and he actually bought me one the next day and was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot." But it was actually really funny. But I think the motorcycles were the best gift.
That's awesome. It sounds like you guys had an amazing time together growing up as a family, having those great holidays together and the Christmas gifts. I remember I have a brother and a sister. I also grew up with my mom and dad. So waking up in the morning during Christmas with my whole family was one of my most fondest times. And to this day, actually, we still all celebrate together, even though obviously we're all older. I think family and family values are very important. My boyfriend now that I'm dating, they're very into family. Literally every night we get together and have dinner together. And they even plan it around my show. They're like, "Okay, Britt, what time's your show at? Let's do dinner beforehand." So I'm very grateful that I come from a family that is all about family, and same thing with my boyfriend's parents. And it sounds like you are doing the same exact footsteps, which I love. Yeah. What did you guys like to cook growing up back home and currently now? Do you have any favorite dishes that you made? Like, what is your nationality? You are absolutely gorgeous. What's your nationality? And give me some dishes that you make.
Well, thank you. Okay, so let me see. Well, my mom is Caucasian and my father is African American. So growing up, my mom kind of did the cooking, but my dad kind of did the cooking too. There was no like favorite dish really. I would say like my favorite dish out of everything my mom used to cook was, she always cooked quick meals because we were always at track practice and then we would come home and be like, "Oh, well, it's late, so we have to hurry up and eat." And so I think her best dish was probably like enchiladas or something like that. And that's actually what I'm cooking tonight. So
enchiladas, nice.
I can send you a picture once it's done, but I really like enchiladas. I'm big on Hispanic food. I like enchiladas, rice. My dad, he cooks like steak and stuff, but I'm not really big on steak and chicken, and I'm not really big on that just because we ate it so much when we were younger. So I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna stay away from that now."
I like it. I like the enchilada idea. You're gonna have to send me some photos, maybe send me a recipe so I can try it out. You guys are now listening to Mercedes Brooks, recent LSU grad, and Lady Tiger. We're going to be talking all about her college basketball career very shortly, so please keep staying with us. Subscribe to us on iTunes and Spotify. You are now listening to Brittany Baldi, your Boss Babes host. So you've been talking lately a lot about track. It sounds like you and your family were really into track. I don't know if your sisters did it or your brother or if it was just you, but obviously you played basketball. So what sparked your interest in running track or being a part of track as a child?
Okay, so my dad was actually our trainer. So he kind of forced us to run track. He, from a young age, I would say I was a late bloomer just because my sisters started when they were probably like 3 or 4. And I didn't get serious into track probably until about 6 or 7 years old. But so we ran track my whole life. I actually started basketball pretty late. My father ran track and football. He went to Langston University, and my mom actually played basketball at Northwestern until she decided to have a kid. And yes, but we actually ran track my whole life. And then I was able to start playing basketball when my sister graduated high school, which would have been my freshman year in high school. So, but I do think looking back at it, track was very beneficial. When you compare basketball and track, you're like, oh, they're not very similar, but it actually gets you in shape a lot easier to play basketball. And I noticed that when I left for college my freshman year and was like, oh, I'm so tired. But it was because I wasn't doing the extra conditioning I was doing my freshman year in college as if I was like here working out with my dad. So track definitely was very beneficial when it came to being or doing both sports.
It sounds like you enjoyed being involved with track, but it almost sounds like you enjoyed the sport, but it was more for the strength and conditioning for other sports. Very smart. I remember I was a 3-sport athlete back in high school, but my favorite sport was actually softball. But in the fall, I enjoyed playing field hockey for fun. And then I played a little bit of basketball. I'm super tiny. I was not really that great at it. I just like to shoot around. But I just like doing it because I enjoyed being around the team and staying in shape for softball the upcoming season. So I totally understand the whole sticking with different sports to keep you in shape for the main sport that you enjoy.
I actually played softball in high school just because my friends, they were like, oh, we're going to put you on the base and treat you as a runner, okay? And just run whenever we start screaming. I was like, okay, sounds good. Just
I like that. That was kind of like me with basketball. I'm like literally, I swear, Mercedes, you're probably going to meet me this season either at the Celtics or Red Claws game.
Definitely.
You're going to be like, oh my God, this girl's like 5'2". I'm super tiny. So when I played basketball, like I literally was not good at all, but I just did it for fun. So I think it's cute that you also played softball and you were just running around and whatnot. But you know what? It's still fun. You're staying in shape. You're meeting new friends.
Yeah.
I love that you're sporty and athletic. And I want to switch on over to the fact that you have some fun facts. So you, on your downtime, like to create custom clothing. So what is that all about? Do you like to draw them out? Do you want to be a fashion designer someday? What type of clothing do you like to design? I want to hear all about this.
Okay, so I cannot sew for anything. Like I can't sew. I actually haven't tried, but I've been thinking about getting some sewing classes from a friend of mine. But I like to draw, so I draw cartoons. I do like to so say if I get a new jacket, I'll draw the new jacket out and then put like custom designs on the jacket. I actually haven't started like making any clothing just because I can't sew. So, but I do like to draw them out, and I like to see like, okay, I can send this to somebody. So like in college, a lot of people would be like, oh my God, we love your shirt. I used to get shirts printed on, it would have like Tremont Waters, and it'll have like a collage of pictures. Like I made all the shirts. I have them actually drawn in my notebook, just where the pictures would go, which pictures, and then you could tell like there were pictures from insignificance. So like it started out like when he was a child up to when he was in college, and now that he's a pro. But just take them and I just draw it out. But I do plan on getting into sewing and doing that type of stuff.
I think that's really amazing that you have that side talent on the side.
Yes.
I think that's super cool. If you ever want to make me some custom Blue Jays gear with my boyfriend's name in the back, I'm here for it. I need some custom gear.
I love customizing and then like sending it to someone. They're like, "Oh my God, this is a good idea. Why did I not think of this?" And I'm like, "Well, there you go. Now you can make it." Jersey that I split in half. I kind of drew it out for the person that made it for me. I found them on Instagram. I just had it to where it's on my Instagram. So you can check it out. It's like half Maine Red Claws and half Celtics. I kind of drew it out from a T. Like I wanted this to touch here and this to touch here, and then she kind of helped me out by, okay, well, we have to sew it here and all that type of stuff. So that's kind of something that I chose to do.
Again, you guys are listening to Mercedes Brooks, recent LSU grad, Lady Tiger. We're going to be chatting all about that soon, but really quickly, we have a fun advertisement from one of our quick friends. We will be right back with Mercedes shortly, but I'm going to pop this phone number up because you guys know who they are. It's Green Team Junk Removal, and their phone number is 508-361-0519. Again, it's 508-361-0519. Green Team Junk Removal. I absolutely love them. They're in the Massachusetts area. They are very eco-friendly. If you have any items laying around your house or your business or at a school, anywhere, you give them a call. They will show up. They will collect those items, and they will either donate them somewhere if they are able to be salvaged, or if they can't be salvaged, they will actually just take them and dispose of them properly. So again, 508-361-0519. Green Team Junk Removal. And I found this really cool, interesting, fun fact that they posted up on their Facebook page. Guess what? It only takes 5 recycled plastic bottles to make fiber to fill a ski jacket. How cool is that? So if you guys are donating or you guys are recycling, should I say, water bottles, only 5 of those will fill up a whole ski jacket. So that's super cool. Again, guys, 508-361-0519. Hit up Green Team Junk Removal. They will help get rid of some of your unused items that you no longer need. So we're going to switch back with our beautiful girl, Mercedes Brooks. What's up, girl? You guys just heard her talk all about growing up in Wichita Falls, Texas, the fact that she recently evacuated with her niece to, you left Houston, you're in Wichita now with your family. Fun fact of hers is that she grew up with a lot of siblings. They played track. They were very active. She grew up with her mom and dad. She asked for a motorcycle for Christmas. It sounds like she got a motorcycle for Christmas. And she likes to draw custom clothing on the side. So what we have here is a woman of many talents. Let's jump right into it. You are a recent LSU grad. So you spent 2 years in Louisiana. How was that whole experience? Graduating from there? Did you try new foods while you were living there?
Crab legs. Going to LSU, I found out where crab legs were. Obviously, I knew what a crab is, but when I went there, that's kind of what got me hooked. Like I went to Fiery Crab, a place kind of like going towards Zachary, Louisiana. And it was amazing. They knew my order. They knew my drink. I didn't even have to order when I walked in. They were like, "Hey, Mercedes is back. Here's what you want. It'll be out in just a second." I was like, okay. So I think the crab legs is what really got me in Louisiana. I was there like every other day. But that was really good.
Were there any special spices on these crab legs?
I ordered, so it was called what was it called? Fiery crab, I think it was like the fire special or something like that. It was like a mix of all the flavors. So, and I got extra hot. I'm spice girl. I love everything hot. I love hot sauce. Louisiana hot sauce is really good. I just love all different types of spices. But yeah,
that sounds delicious. And I know that you met your boyfriend, Tremont Waters, there, which we're going to talk about a little bit later down the road. But what was your topic of study while you're at LSU? Are you planning on using your degree to some extent? What did you study? Why did you choose that specific area of study? And I know that you went there on a full athletic scholarship as well for basketball, which we will also chat about a little bit later.
Yes. Okay. So my major was sports administration, and I got a minor in business. So my plan was to start working in the sporting industry, but I also like public relations. So I don't really know which path I want to take with sports, especially now with everything going on in the sport world. Like I know I want to work. If I coach, I want to coach at high school because I would like to get the kids to understand what college really is instead of I feel like there's a lot of clout, I would say, on what college is, and I actually want to reach the high school level just so they would know like what it's actually about and not what everybody like thinks it's about. So everybody's like, oh, you don't want to coach college, and I'm like, no. Like if I get the opportunity, I would, but I think my heart is coaching high school. I plan on using my degree, but as of now, since sports are kind of like not shut off, but kind of like declining with everything going on, it's kind of at a pause. I've been thinking about going back to school and getting a nursing degree. So thinking about going the nursing route, just because I'm a really caring person and I love to help everybody. Tremont's mom is actually a nurse, and so it's really cool seeing how she like cares for patients and everything like that. I think that's really cool. And then my mom has worked in the healthcare, so I've been around. I've been around a lot of healthcare workers, so I think it's awesome.
I think that's amazing. So you do plan on potentially going back to possibly focus in healthcare, but you do also enjoy sports. Obviously, you've been involved with sports pretty much your whole life. My uncle Jeff is actually watching live right now, and he wanted me to ask you what so far is your biggest accomplishment?
Okay, what's my biggest accomplishment? I would say getting my degree. And I would say that because I know a lot of people get their degree, but I would say because I feel like I did this for my parents. Like I did my degree for my parents. Growing up, it was not easy for them. Like like I said, we had a lot of, I mentioned like us getting motorcycles and all that type of stuff, but that was in the storm. Like we went through a lot, and my parents, they sacrificed a lot for us to get that. It wasn't easy for them to come out of their pockets to buy us that type of stuff. They had to work and try to get us all of that. So it was really hard changing schools from Kansas State to Trinity Valley and doing those things. Like I actually went through a lot to get my degree. So I think I held my head up high when I walked across the stage virtually. So yeah, I think my biggest accomplishment would be getting my degree, and that accomplishment would be towards my parents because that's who I did that for.
Uncle Jeff, I know you're still listening. You just heard Mercedes say that her biggest accomplishment so far, and she sort of did it for her parents, obviously for herself as well, was walking across that stage virtually with her diploma. Let's talk about basketball. I know we've been talking about basketball off and on. I'm rocking the Red Claws hat, obviously. We've been talking a little bit about the Celtics, which we're going to talk about your boyfriend, Tremont Waters, towards the end and your relationship. But, girl, you are a star basketball player. You played track, or you ran track, or you're involved in track when you were younger. Now you are a big basketball star. And you actually went to LSU as a Lady Tiger on a full athletic scholarship. What was that experience like before I start rambling off some of your amazing feats that you have accomplished as a Lady Tiger?
It was, I would say, difficult to come in. And so at my previous school, I was at Trinity Valley, kind of the leader on the team, good stats. But I came into LSU. I was still leading the way I lead. It was kind of like I was coming in fresh again, like a newbie again. So, but coming in and learning from a lot of other players, like great players like Ayanna Mitchell, Faustina Fua, just coming in and learning from those type of players. It was really nice. I liked it. I got to experience a lot of different tastes when it comes to LSU and the culture. But it was a good experience. Way to end off my career with a good, positive mind.
You dominated as a young athlete. I'm going to actually just read off some of your stats because, girl, you absolutely crushed it. So some of her amazing feats that she accomplished, I looked them up online. It says at one point she was ranked number 44 in the nation by ESPN Hoop Girls. She was the 9th player in K-State WBB history from Texas. She's also a 3-time TGCA All-State selection. So she's a 3-time Red River 22 MVP, 3-time District 5A Player of the Year, and 2016 McDonald's All-American nominee. And honestly, that was only a small portion of the stuff that she accomplished while being a basketball player in her career. She honestly had so many accomplishments. I was like, wow, if I sit here and read all these off, it's going to take up like an hour. But girl, you absolutely crushed it. And if you ever have kids with Tremont, you guys know you're going to be pumping out a professional athlete because holy wow. So let's talk a little bit about your feats and what you accomplished as a college athlete and as a young woman.
Okay, how is it? Okay, it's my turn. So going into, I will start from Trinity Valley because at Kansas State, I really didn't play as much at K-State, and then I ended off in probably mid-December, so I didn't really play after that transfer at that point, so it was kind of like cut off. Very good stats there. I loved it there. Loved my coach, Coach Jared Ewing, and then moved over to LSU. I think being a college athlete, I think a lot of people overlook student athletes. I think it was really hard. I think I struggled with trying to balance school and trying to balance basketball. But at the end of the day, I stayed over my 3.0. That was a big accomplishment basketball-wise. Being a light was always what my biggest strength was, my greatest strength. A lot of people have told me that. I know Coach Nikki Fargas, she's always like, oh, Mercedes, come on. Like, I was the happy-go-lucky. Like, everybody was like, oh, when Mercedes walks in the door, everybody lights up. So she used to always say it's not about how what everybody feels when you walk in. It's how, when you walk out, how they still feel. Do they still feel your presence or not? And I think I was definitely one of those players that whether you were in a bad mood or not, when I walked in, you were going to be happy regardless. And I've gotten that from a lot of people. So I kind of feel like, oh, okay, like that must be true. Like, of course, I don't really notice it because it's me doing it, but my greatest strength, and which I loved it because I could be having a bad day, but once I walk in, I'm like, I know there's somebody that needs me to make them happy. So I would walk in and I'm like, okay, well, I'm okay now. So yeah, it was good.
I love it. It sounds like you have great positive vibes. Right now, you're just smiling away. And I actually watched a really fun video clip of you being a Lady Tiger. It was actually a 1-minute clip from LSU. I'm actually going to share it out on our Instagram later on today. But in that clip, they talk all about you being a positive light. So yes, you are very positive, very upbeat. And I cannot wait later on towards the end of the show to hear your positive pop because I'm sure it's going to be absolutely amazing. You guys are now listening to Mercedes Brooks. She is a former LSU Lady Tiger, recently graduated. We've been talking about basketball, growing up in Texas, what types of food she likes to eat. We just learned that she likes crab legs from Louisiana and spicy foods. Okay. Now we're going to hop right into, before we talk about Tremont, because obviously the Celtics are kind of at a little bit of a halt right now, WNBA. Do you have any aspirations to play in the WNBA someday? Or are you kind of just in that motion of you want to continue with schooling and potentially maybe start a family someday? What are your thoughts on possibly going pro?
When you're younger, everybody's like, oh, I want to go to the WNBA. I want to do this. I want to do that. I did have thoughts of going overseas to play and then eventually coming back and trying to play in the WNBA. But I feel like after I've sat and thought, I've thought about it for a long time, but I feel like playing is not where my heart is. Like in the future, I don't see myself playing. I see myself helping others, and I don't really think that would be me helping others. I think coaching is something that I can do that will give back to the community in Wichita Falls, Texas. But yeah, I don't really see WNBA in my future. Not because I don't believe I could make it there, because I believe I could do it if I wanted to, but that's just not the path I'm choosing to take.
You are sort of taking the philanthropic view where you want to help others, give back, get into coaching, maybe be there for your man and watch him do his career, because obviously you're probably going to be traveling with him, which I'm going to be doing with my boyfriend as well. Sometimes you want to put things on hold for a little bit and sacrifice and also learn how to give back and coach others. So I love that answer. Very respectful. I literally love that answer. I was expecting, no, I want to try out for the WNBA someday or something like that. But full circle, I think it's super cool that you want to put your career on hold and see what happens down the road as far as the medical field goes and whatnot. But let's jump right into it. I know we've been poking the bear a little bit, talking about the Celtics, talking about your man, who is super cool. Again, I hope that I see both of you guys this upcoming Red Claws and Celtics season. Fingers crossed for that. How is it dating a Celtics player? And how did you guys meet? Let's just start off with that. How the heck did you guys meet? Tell me the story. What were your first couple of dates like?
Oh, goodness. Okay, so the story is actually pretty long. So I'm just going to break it down into the general little essay, I would say. I actually was new to LSU, and I had my thoughts. I was like, okay, I'm not going to talk. My junior year at LSU, I was like, okay, I'm locked in. I have to focus for basketball, this and that. And so there was just one day I was playing basketball. Like, I came in, and it was late. It was probably I would say 9 o'clock-ish. And I walked in with my sports bra on, and I had on basketball shorts, and I kind of flung the door open, and I was like, oh, because I thought it was just me. But unfortunately, it was Tremont's team at LSU, his team, and I'm not sure who was in the room, but they were dressed up, and it was they had suits on, and they just saw me swing the door open. It was so embarrassing, the most embarrassing moment of my life. And so if anybody knows me, I don't really wear bathing suits in public. This is probably the most I'll get. So me walking in with my sports bra was like, whoa, okay, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? I let them stay. They were in our gym. And so I went to the men's gym, and he was like, oh, do you need anything? Do you need a ball? Do you need this? Do you need that? And I was like, oh, yeah, actually, I do. All of my stuff is in the gym, and the girls in the women's gym. And so he's like, okay, I'll go get it. I'll go get all of it since you obviously don't have on a shirt. You just have on a sports bra. So he went and grabbed my shoes and was like, is there anything else? And so he grabbed everything else I asked for. And so to speed up the story, I was shooting, and he was kind of standing in the corner, which I didn't know until one of my balls flew off of it's called the gun. So it shoots the ball back to you so you can shoot. It's like a automatic rebounder. So it went towards him, and I turned, and I'm like, whoa, how long have you been there? And 5-10 minutes. And I'm like, okay, can you go? I'm trying to be serious and take this shooting seriously. And he was like, no, I'm just gonna sit and watch. I think he said if you make 15 threes in a row, then I'll leave. And so I made them. I was like, okay, now you can go. And so he's like, no, I'm just gonna stay, and he was just kind of hanging around. And then to cut the story off, we he ended up coming over. And Tremont, actually, he didn't say his name. I didn't know him. I wasn't a big basketball fan before I met Tremont. I didn't really watch basketball. I was kind of just the person who played basketball and not really watched it. So he was like, yeah, you could just, follow me on Instagram or Snapchat or something like that. And I'm like, no, I don't have service right now. So can you just go, then we can catch up later? And he was like, oh, well, I know the Wi-Fi code. And he starts putting the code in my phone. I'm like, oh my goodness. And so he's doing that. And I was like, okay, bye. And then he just kept talking. And then he ended up pausing my music because I had on some beats. And he ended up pausing my music. He was like, no, well, I'm just going to tell you my name and we can talk. So we actually sat there for about 4 hours and just talked.
Wow.
It was crazy because it felt like we had known each other for a really long time, but that was our first day having a conversation, and it was 4 hours long.
I actually really love that story because I enjoy his persistence, and I think he probably got more excited to get to know you after you sunk those 3-pointers. He's probably like, this girl is hot, she is funny, she can talk well, and she is a great basketball player. I'm going to sit here and wait as long as I have to get this girl's phone number, and that's exactly what he did. So Tremont Waters, if Tremont is listening right now, you did a great job at landing a great woman.
It was so funny. And then he didn't tell me that he was actually on the basketball team. I'm sorry, I'm gonna tell you guys this. It might be embarrassing for him, but with his height, I just thought like he was the manager forever. So like for 2 months that we were talking, he never said anything. I actually found out because one of the players on the women's team was like, "Do you know who you're talking to?" And I'm like, "No, like who am I talking to?" And so they were like, "That's Tremont Waters, like he's the star on the team." And I'm like, "Oh, well, he never told me that." Like he completely like left basketball out of the picture, which is what we like tend to do. Like we don't really talk about basketball a lot because I know like we have people in our corner. Like growing up, I had my mom and everybody was talking to me about basketball all the time. His parents, his mom, dad, he had them talking about basketball. So when it was just us two, we never really spoke on basketball. It was always just about our relationship and like doing things. We're very adventurous, so we like to do a lot of different things, like go to the lake, and we really like the movies. I think we really enjoy the movies.
What are some of your favorite movies that you guys have watched together as a couple? Are you guys into the scary movies, the chick flicks, the thrillers?
We were actually like action movies, so I think Marvel movies. I think we
nice.
really enjoy Marvel movies. I can't really be specific because I don't really pay attention to the titles, but I know like the action movies are really like what we get into. And he's actually really bad at like staying awake in the movies. So if it's not interesting, he's gonna fall straight to sleep. So I'm like, okay, we have to find something really good, and that's what we actually do now. With him being gone and everything, it's kind of hard. We can't go to the movies together, especially now with even if we were together with COVID going on, do a thing where we're like, okay, we sit on FaceTime. I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3. And we start the movie at the same time to act like we're on the movie. But yeah, we do that pretty often. That's how serious our movie dates are.
I like that. That's super cute that you guys like to have your movie dates. You enjoy watching Marvel films. And if you guys were going to make dinner for each other, who would be making the dinner? Would it be you? Would it be him? Do you make dinner as a couple? And if you were to make a special dish for him right before or right after a game, what would that special dish be?
Okay, so I really can't cook very well. And so I started off cooking at LSU just like little quick meals like hamburger helper and spaghetti and pasta, just little meals like that. I think he fell in love with hamburger helper, or it was like a special type of hamburger. It might have been like hamburger lasagna or something like that, and with barbecue beans and cornbread. Like he loved that. He loved that meal at LSU, and he will still to this day like, okay, when we find a kitchen, like you have to make that. So that's his favorite. But I'm not really big. I do like grilled chicken, stuff like that, but I haven't really had the time with basketball in school to like sit down and actually learn how to cook because they always have just given us food. So that wasn't like a big thing my 4 years in college, and I definitely wasn't cooking in high school. So I definitely plan on taking some classes to cook as well.
That's awesome. It sounds like you guys enjoy hanging out, eating good food, watching your movies. And I wanted to ask you, do you ever get the opportunity to either go up to Maine or Boston to watch him play? And if you do, you better hit me up because you know that I'm in town, girl. So we gotta go on a double date, or you and I need to go shopping together or something. So do you ever get to travel up to see him? Probably not this year, of course, but maybe this upcoming season. And do you like going to Boston? Do you like traveling to Maine?
Oh, I love Boston. I think it's so pretty. Compared to Texas, it has green grass, it has water. Like, that's probably the only downfall about Texas. There's not very much green. Like, there's green grass, but it's so hot here, like, it's hard to get green grass. But I love going to Boston. I've been a few times with basketball at LSU. It's kind of hard to try to go, like, continuously see him and like do what I had to do on the court and in the classroom. So I wasn't able to go as much as I wanted to, but I was able to go to the draft when he got drafted, which obviously was not in Boston, but I was able to see him when he went to the draft. Love Boston. I've never been to Maine for his basketball anyways. I went to Maine one time for the Junior Olympics when I was about 9 years old, I believe. So that was the only time I've been to Maine. I was not able to go due to basketball. Otherwise, I would have gone because I love to travel. So it's a good thing he's in the profession he's in because he travels a lot and I love to travel. So it's a good mix.
You guys are now listening to Mercedes Brooks. You've been listening to us chat all about basketball, her family, and of course she's dating Boston Celtics, Tremont Waters, and he is doing very well, which is super exciting. I got to watch him play live a few times when he played for the Red Claws before everything got shut down. Let's talk about the NBA bubble right now. I know you were getting ready to potentially go into that NBA bubble. What was that protocol like? Was there a specific protocol you had to take? Obviously, you might not be able to talk about all of it, but maybe give us some of the insider detail about that NBA bubble.
Going to the NBA bubble, it was so they were taking strict protocols, which is necessary in times like this with COVID going around, and they're trying to prevent, obviously, the players from catching and the staff. But they had us take a home test, which I never completed because obviously I'm not in the bubble. Me and Tremont decided financially it wasn't a good decision because the hotels and just everything was a lot more than what we expected it to be. Financially, that's not a good decision for us. I think it was probably like $1,500 a week or something like that just for quarantine. Crazy. I mean, we could have done it, but it was just the fact that I was only going to be there for like a few days when I did get to see him. So it was like, no, like we're going to sit this one out, and we're actually going to save that money to when the bubble is not a bubble anymore and they're done. We're going to go on a vacation. So we don't know where it's going to be, but we're going to keep y'all updated and let y'all know, because I wouldn't want them to just be inviting all different like other people and then I end up sick and not being able to play. So they're doing what is right. So I think it's a good idea what they're doing.
And I think it's smart that you guys are saving that money and are going to go on a one-on-one couples trip, and you have to keep me updated and let me know where you guys go on your trip. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. That sounds exciting.
I definitely keep y'all updated because we plan on going somewhere, but we don't know. COVID also is, so we have to see like at the time. I don't know what time we plan on going, where we plan on going. We haven't decided that yet.
Exactly what's happening with the COVID, but hopefully by the time the NBA playoffs wrap up, you guys will be able to take that nice trip together. Or if not, you guys can do a staycation, go to a lake and watch all the movies that you guys want and eat all the great snacks and treats that you want. We're going to be listening to Mercedes tell us all about her charity and some positive pop. But before we do that, we have another great sponsor I want to pop up, Signature Popcorn. They are incredible. Actually, I should send you guys some popcorn. Believe it or not, I'm going to send you guys some. So I'm going to get one of your addresses so I can send you popcorn. Signature Popcorn is really great, guys. So they are a handcrafted gourmet popcorn company. Here's their website right here, just signaturepopcorn.com. Go on their website. You can order all different flavors. We've tried so many. Cheesy bacon, dynamic duo, which is caramel and cheese. We've also tried birthday cake flavored cinnamon roll. You name it, they have it. I think they just came out with the cookies and cream one, which my boyfriend and I cannot wait to try. Excellent movie watching popcorn. So signaturepopcorn.com. And it's healthy. They make all their popcorn handmade, handcrafted, and it's made actually with coconut oil, which is pretty neat. So I'm going to send you guys some popcorn. So thank you for being on the show. Charity work. You are a woman of many talents. And not only do you play basketball and help out with your man and your family and everything else, but she actually likes to help out the homeless, and she will go with her family sometimes and I believe help out with the food drives. And one day she actually plans on hopefully being able to have the funds to start her own homeless shelter. So sort of give me the backstory on that, how you give back to the homeless community.
Okay, so like I said, growing up, it was not easy for us. So I actually know firsthand what it is like to not have anything at certain points. We did have a rough childhood. We got through it, luckily. And, I mean, just seeing the homeless, it touches a spot that makes me like want to work harder. So I was just telling Tremont the other day, I was riding the car with my mom, and there's a lot of homeless people in Houston. And so we were driving, and a homeless man was standing there, and I was like, like he doesn't look like he should be homeless. Like, and we just start talking, and I'm like I really feel bad. And my mom was like, it's okay. Like, everything happens for a reason. They'll figure it out. Like I do what I can to like help the homeless. If I have any spare change, I give it to them, because I'm like, well, if it's here, like they can do something better than what I'll do with it. Like, I'll probably just drop this quarter or whatever. But one thing about me is, which made me happy, and I was telling him, I was like, my mom was like, well, you can't, like what can you do for him? Because I like get really emotional, and I'm like, oh, it's so sad seeing them. And I was like, well, I can work harder, because like I'm not doing anything right now. Like, I need to work harder so I can be able to build what we will call WWFC. It's me and Tremont's future plan is to open a homeless shelter where the homeless can come to either stay, or they can just come and go as they please. I think helping the homeless is where my heart is at. We spoke about earlier, like what my future holds, like if I plan on being a WNBA or whatever I plan on doing. I think the homeless is what like I plan on doing. I don't know what I want to do with them yet, but I know whatever I do in the long run, it will revolve around them, because it's something I had to go through. So I feel like if I can help even one person or 10 people, I feel like that will make me happy and make me feel like my life is worth what I want.
I think that's amazing that you and Tremont want to tag team together and help out the homeless community at some point when you guys are financially ready to do so. And obviously, in the meantime, you are doing what you can, which is super incredible. And outside of helping out with the homeless community, I do know that you also volunteer. I was looking at your Instagram. I was doing some Instagram creeping and whatnot. You help out at different community schools with young kids. So talk to me about what it's like helping out within your community, giving back to the young kids. And I don't know if you do any coaching, mentoring, and such.
Just starting out in high school. So I did have a few younger girls than me in high school that I would help out. I would do like little mini private sessions with them. High school, started teaching and coaching younger players, just kind of the basics of basketball, ball handling, dribbling, passing, shooting, those types of things. But going into college, it was kind of a bit harder, because time management was not, like, I didn't really have time to try to help anybody else, because I was either trying to help myself, go in the gym and try to shoot or work on my handles or my shot, or I was just, working on school, or we were out of town, because we're out of town a lot for basketball in college. But right now I'm actually thinking about, with everything going on, I'm thinking about coming up with a home PE session. I know a lot of kids are either, they got the choice to go to class or go to school, I would say, or do school virtually. So for those kids that are doing school virtually, I've decided that I should probably make like a PE session for them or something like that. I do want to continue to reach out to the kids that I know there are a lot of kids in Wichita Falls that are being overlooked. So like scouting wise, I know there's a lot of good talent in Wichita Falls. So I want to try to help them come out and get recognized by those, maybe not top schools, mid-level schools, but different schools that they can go and play at.
Give back. You continue to give back to your community, and you want to keep helping out the youth. I love the idea of the at-home PE, because I've been noticing that a lot of people lately are not only doing the at-home schooling, but they're starting up their own at-home workout sessions, or people are doing concerts from home. So whatever you can do from at home to help other people out, keep rocking it. Guys, we're about to wrap up soon. Thank you so much for listening to Mercedes Brooks. She's been absolutely killing it. Before we go, though, you know that we love to not only talk about charity and giving back here on Boss Babes, but positive pop. We need to hear from our girl Mercedes what her positive pop is.
Okay, so my positive pop. So for me personally, like I mentioned, the homeless is what gets me going. Like when I see homeless people, that's what gets me going. But I do have a favorite quote, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's like really long. You guys can look it up. It's Imagine If You Were Blind. I'm not sure who wrote it because every time I look it up, it says unknown. You can look it up on YouTube or on Google. It kind of just gives you a background of like, okay, so if you were blind, you wouldn't be able to do this, the things that you do. So work hard.
Is it more so along the lines of sort of, and I've never read it, I want to look it up, but is it like, don't take things for granted?
Yes, kind of. And it's just imagine if you were blind. Oh, it's so long and I really want to explain it to you guys, but it's so good. You have to it's kind of one of those, like, you have to feel it. Like, if you don't feel it, then maybe it's not for you, but you should go look it up. It's called Imagine If You Were Blind.
So I love that positive pop, and I love that you give back to the homeless community. I love that you are there for your man and your family, and you are such a positive light. I want to hear what your social media is. That way people can follow you up on social media.
Instagram, it's at Sadies, Sadies, Brooks, Brooks. And it's kind of, I'm just on Instagram. I have a Twitter, but it was because we had to make one for class, so I don't really use Twitter, but y'all can go follow me. Yep. So SADIESBROOKS.
Well, you were so incredible on here. Thank you guys so much for listening. Mercedes, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope to catch up with you.
Thank you for having me.
Maybe catch up with you after the basketball season to see what you guys are both up to, see how your vacation went. And again, I hope if you are up in the northern area of the U.S. that you give me a shout and we can link up. But you rock. Thank you so much for coming on here, and I hope that we chat soon.